So it's 9:55. Chris just left. He's been here for a few hours. He got here at around 7, I think. Yeah, he gets his kids tomorrow, so he'll have them for all of next week, so I probably won't see him again while I'm in the hospital. But I know I'll see him when I get back out, so that's okay. So relationships with cystic fibrosis are hard. Clearly they're hard to begin with, but there are some extra challenges when you have cystic fibrosis in having a relationship. So for the person without cystic fibrosis in the relationship, they have to be willing to give up certain things, like just daily activities that cystic fibrosis patients have a harder time doing. Stuff like going on hikes and trekking up mountainsides and kayaking, things that are more intense physically. We can't really do very well, like sports. Some of us can, but people like me, we can't. This sounds weird, but marriage, they have to give up. Some have to give up marriage. And I don't say this as a hard thing that they have to give up, but some of us rely on Medicare and Medicaid in order to afford our medications and our treatments and our hospital stays. And if we get married, we would lose that insurance. And I, for one, am not willing to do that. So I've clearly talked about that with Chris. And as far as I know, he's, like, okay with that thought process, but I'm not sure yet. Maybe I should talk to him about it again. It's not, like, set in stone. Like, if I get the job that I want, I'll probably lose that insurance anyway, so if I lose it anyway, I'll probably let myself get married someday. But at any rate, so that's another thing they might have to give up. They might have to give up children, unless they already have them, which in Chris's case he does. But, like, I can't have kids. Not because I'm, like, sterile, but because carrying a child would more than likely kill me, and possibly also the baby. And I'm not willing to take that chance, so I'm not going to, I go through great lengths to make sure I don't get pregnant. Let's just put it that way. So, other things. Sorry, I just did my breathing treatment and then walked around the hallway, so I'm very out of breath. Other things they might give up. Financial freedom, sort of. Because a lot of us with cystic fibrosis can't work. Like me, I can't work right now. So if I do get into a relationship with somebody, a serious relationship, they'd basically have to support me. I get a stipend from the government on a monthly basis, but other than that, I'm broke. So that's something that they have to think about. And then, of course, there's the big one, mortality. Hello? Oh, what's up?
Hey. Right. Let's see. There it is.
I wondered why I wasn't breathing right.
Yeah, so I was like...
I blame you.
The struggle. Struggle's too real right now.
It's all on you, James.
See, my heart, it hurts.
It's okay.
I redeem myself, though. Do you use, like, a bubble or anything like that? For humidity or anything like that?
No, not usually.
Ooh. Well, you are set now.
Well, thanks.
Alright, just call if you need anything, okay?
Will do.
Alright, thank you.
Bye. So that was my respiratory therapist. Apparently he forgot to plug in my oxygen. So that's probably why I was having such a hard time catching my breath. Oh, silly man. But anyway, before that little moment of levity, we were talking about mortality. the ups and downs that are my life. So yeah, obviously our mortality rate is pretty high. We do have a tendency to pass away at a younger age than the average person, barring like accidents and things. So that's something that we have to bear in mind, and that potential partners have to bear in mind, is that we might not be here very long in the scheme of things. I mean, we fight to stay alive as long as we can, but we can't really be guaranteed as many years that most people tend to see. So that's something to bear in mind, to be realistic about. But also, and I'm a big proponent for this, we must remember that no one is guaranteed tomorrow. So while we should bear in mind that this is something that we might have to deal with, we shouldn't live every day like we're gonna... Well, hang on. I'm trying to figure out how to word this. We shouldn't live like we're dying. Live held back because of the idea that we're not going to live as long as everybody else. Living like there's no tomorrow tends to have a positive connotation. Like, live like you're dying, so live it up, live it like it's your last day. Well, that, yes, do that. Live every day like it's precious, because it is. But don't live with it hanging over your head that you might not make it 10 more years, or 5 more years, or however many you think you might have. Don't let it control you. That's what I'm trying to say with all these words. Don't let it control you. And then whoops, sorry, I hit the phone. From the perspective of the person with cystic fibrosis in the relationship, we need to understand that they're not going to necessarily understand everything right off the bat. They're not going to necessarily understand all the treatments and things that we have to do and the limitations that we have, and we need to be patient with that. We need to teach them instead of just getting mad at them for not automatically understanding what we go through. I know I've made that mistake a couple of times, so that's something we need to bear in mind. And we need to think about all the things that I mentioned already as well, and how it relates to them, and really educate them about what it really means to date us, and all those things that I talked about a moment ago. It's not an easy journey, and it's going to be a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, so to speak, but in the end, and this is what everybody needs to realize, is that we're still worth it. We have these great, wonderful personalities, or we might have great, wonderful personalities. I don't know. Not everybody does, I guess. But we have the potential to be a really good partner and a really good person, and we shouldn't be discounted before we're gotten to know just because we have this disease. And I've encountered that a lot, people leaving before they really got a chance to know me. And that's hurtful, but I have a very, screw them attitude about it. If they're not willing to get to know me, then I don't want to know them in the first place. Which I think helps me cope with stuff like that a lot better. But yeah, the whole kids thing, if you date somebody who has children, take it slow with the kids, especially if they're younger kids, because you don't want them to get attached to you if you don't know that, this is the relationship you really want to do for, the rest of your life. And also know that you're asking their parent a lot in letting them meet you, because one day you're going to leave their lives because you're going to die, more than likely. So yeah, that kind of complicates things a bit. But again, don't let that control what you do with your life. Just keep it in mind, bear it in mind. Chris and I have talked about that a bit, and he's wanting to take it pretty slow with the kids, which I agree with, but more for the idea of we want to know that this is what we really want before we involve 2 young children in the situation. Sorry, there's something in my eye. But yeah, so that about sums up what I wanted to say about relationships as far as I can recount. So I probably won't do another video tonight because it's already past 10. So until tomorrow, bye guys.